Hi, I'm Christopher Donoso, speech therapist, voice enthusiast, and your host of Tell Me Bout It. This is the podcast all about your voice, how we use it, how we find it, and what it means to us. I'll be talking with pros, creatives, and entrepreneurs about the messy, honest, behind-the-scenes stuff that doesn't always make it to the textbooks. Got something to say? Tell me about it. Welcome everybody to Tell Me About It. Welcome to episode 2 where I have my very first guest, Sasha Divain. She is a voice professor and Estill Master Trainer in New York City, and I'm happy to have her here to talk about what she does. Welcome.
It's very nice to see you, Chris.
I'm happy to have you here.
Yes, and actually, these days we are in Tampa.
We are in Tampa, Florida right now. We're recording from our Airbnb.
And it's an amazing event here these days. It calls AI Voice Symposium.
Yes, we're here for, it's called the Bridge to AI, where they're talking about voice biomarkers and how they use them to identify potential health problems that people are facing just from the sound of their voice.
Yeah. The future is here.
The future is here, and we're trying not to get left behind.
Yes.
But tell me more about yourself, Sasha.
Mm-hmm. I have been singing since I was 9 years old. So I did my singing education. I have experience in classical, pop, jazz singing, and music theater. Yeah, and so, when you are very long in your profession, you don't want to burn out. So you need to change something. That's why I started with performance. Then I went to the vocal pedagogy. Mm-hmm. I created my first singing school when I was 15 years old. Wow. Together with my colleague. She was much older than me. And then when I was 20, I established with my colleague the first voice association in Eastern Europe and Central Asia. Yeah, and it was a very important step because at that time we didn't have any voice organization like here in the United States. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, it's very important to connect people, to have a great scientific-based knowledge, and that's what I'm doing right now. So I'm the head organization, so it's my first and main job. And as you said, I'm a voice professor. So we have many courses for voice teachers, for singers, speakers, and also for laryngologists and SLPs. Yeah, and we are trying to give them the best tips and knowledge for their job.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell me, where are you from originally, and how did you find your way over here into the United States, specifically New York?
It's a great question. I'm originally from Ukraine, and I had a dream to move to the United States for many, many years. And it was not successful because United States Embassy didn't give me a visa for 5 years. Oh my gosh, I got 3 denies. But I never give up. That's why I applied 4th time, and I got my visa. I came here to get my master's degree in music, specifically in vocal pedagogy. And I did it, and I stayed here in the United States. I love this country. I think it's one of the best countries in the world. And there is many possibilities here. And it's nice that we can connect with great people like you, Chris.
Thank you. Yeah. So for some of you that don't know, Sasha and I were able to connect in New York from an otolaryngology round, which is something that is hosted like every other month, I believe, in New York, where voice coaches, speech-language pathologists, and otolaryngologists, ENTs, connect and kind of share case studies about challenging patients that they have, or patients where they are kind of plateauing and need some support in. And it's a great place for people to kind of just talk about what they do, connect, and even help each other out. And that's where we originally connected.
Yeah, it was a great chance to meet each other. Yeah.
We ended up at the same table, and then we were talking, and then we were saying like, oh, I'm in Jersey City. And then she's like, I'm in Jersey City too. And then now we're in Florida in a conference.
Yeah, life is life.
Okay, so then what originally interested you in your field of voice? Like, what got you into that?
So the first step, it was performance experience. I had a dream to be a great singer. That's why I started my singing lessons when I was a child. I participated in many competitions, festivals, but then I understood that I want to help other people. That's why I started my first voice school, when I was 15 years old. And then I decided that we need to do something more. I started connect voice teachers, SLPs together in our organization. So it was my first steps. And then actually I decided to go and to work more with laryngologists, because I think the voice health, it's the most important thing for all, for singers, for speakers. That's why I started this pathway, and then they invited me to work together with them at the ENT Institute back in Ukraine.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't really realize that our voices are very important, and we really take a lot of it for granted. So we always, if there's any changes in our voice, we always expect, okay, we'll take some medicine and it'll get back to normal. But for a small percentage of people, that normal never comes back, or it takes a lot longer to come back. So that's why I think it's important for people to know about what we do, and for us to be available to people who are facing some of these challenges. Anything from someone who's just a teacher talking to her class to a classically trained singer who needs very specific support. I think it's wonderful. So what were some early challenges that you faced in your career, and how did you kind of push through those, or how did you overcome them?
It's a great question. I think I had many challenges in my life. And I think it's a good, tool to go forwards. So the first challenge for me, I think it was to find the best institution for my study. Because, I started my first educational program back in Crimea when I was born originally, but then I realized that I want to get another degree in contemporary commercial music, and it was not, this kind of institutional education, this kind of institutions, in Crimea. So I started traveling around the country. I started to, try to find the best university for me, and I tried like 6 different cities, and then I found the great voice teachers. She was very inspired, and I decided that I wanna be with you during my pathway, and I think it was the big challenge to find the right teacher.
So I think that leads me to my next question. Do you currently have any mentors, or did you have a mentor that kind of guided you through this process and helped you get to where you are today?
I have many mentors in my life, and I'm so grateful. I think everybody should have their own mentor. Every teacher should have their own teacher. Every singer should have another singer, and etc. So currently I have many people I work with. So I could mention Kimberly Steinhauer. She's the PhD, and she is the president of Estill Voice International. She is a great model for me how to be, a leader in the fields of voice education and voice rehabilitation. So I would like to mention her.
Okay, so we mentioned a lot about Estill Voice Training, and I know it's not a very well-known voice model, and for those people who know about it, they swear by it. But I find that more and more, not a lot of people know that much about it. If not, they've just heard about it. Can you tell us a little bit more about what the Estill Voice model is?
It's American-based scientific voice model. The founder of Estill Voice is Jo Estill. She started her first research when she was a little bit more than 40 years old. It was in 1970, like almost 50 years ago. More than 50 years ago. And she had a great performance career as a singer. but when she like had this career, she decided that she want to help other people, and she started teaching career when she was around 42 years old. And when she started, she understood that like she need more knowledge, because in that time, 50 years ago, it was less scientific knowledge in our field. So people usually use many pictures for teaching and etc. They said that you should pretend that here there is not your head. It's like a big ball, and you should sing to this ball and etc. And she understood that she wanna have a real scientific-based knowledge. And that time she came back to school when she was 42 years old. She was study physiology, anatomy, acoustics, of the voice, and she created Estill Voice model. And currently, it's this model spread around the world. So it's ESHA approved voice model. Many countries, many singers, famous, for example, like Adele. She used to have a voice problem, and my colleague, Estill Voice instructor from UK, she helped her to overcome these problems. And many other singers. For example, here in New York City, we have John Lader. She's famous voice therapist and voice teacher, and she used to help Madonna. She prepared her for the movie Evita, the musical Evita, and she used to help Sting, Stevie Wonder, and all Broadway stars. And she's only one voice teacher around the world who got Tony. So I think there is many advantages and many, credentials which Estill Voice model has. And when I was 20 years old, I also understood that I have lack of knowledge, because my teachers, they was very great, but they also said, that if you have some voice problem, you just need to work with your breath. And we did many breathing exercises.
And it's not
but
just that.
It was not helpful for my voice. Yeah, because you could make this exercise for many, many hours, but how it works together with your vocal folds, and it was not helpful. And that then I went to the internet. I started my searching.
The wonderful web.
Yes, and I found information about scientific-based knowledge about Estill Voice, and it was my start of my journey in Estill Voice. I think probably 12 years ago. Yeah.
So, just to paraphrase for the listeners and viewers, so the Estill Voice model is beneficial not only for people who are facing vocal challenges, but also people who want to expand their vocal repertoire and improve their voice.
It's correct. So Estill Voice, it's not a method, it's a model. So with this model, you could study other methods, and they will be so understandable for you, even they are not scientific based. Because Estill Voice, it's anatomy, physiology, acoustics of the voice in a very simple language and way, and with this knowledge, you could help other singers, speakers. You could improve your voice. You could improve voice of other people, and of course, you could apply this knowledge in rehabilitation and in the voice therapy. Actually, we have Franco Fusi, one of the best laryngologists in Italy. He helped Luciano Pavarotti. So he was working with him, and he's using Estill Voice model for many, many years.
So walk me through how you may be using some of the Estill Voice model with one of your clients who may be, let's say, a singer.
So we have many exercises for voice, and actually in Estill Voice we have figures for voice and we have voice qualities. So what is the figure for voice? So it's like small pieces. So for example, if you wanna cook a soup, what do you need, Chris?
We need ingredients.
Potato, yeah.
Potato, celery, carrots,
Yeah.
stock,
Yeah.
salt, pepper, spices.
Yeah, so this is figures for voice in Estill Voice. So we have many parts of our body which are very active works in voice production. For example, true vocal folds, false vocal folds, our great cartilages, the thyroid, cricoid cartilage. Also, we have, for example, the larynx, the whole our voice house. And so we have muscles in our head and neck, in our torso, which are also very helpful for voice production. And so in Estill Voice, we are working with each structure and we try to isolate. Is it possible to isolate? Of course not, because they're working all together, but this is a very nice pedagogy way, like to be more consciousness about what's going on in your body. Because, for example, if we are talking about piano players, about musicians, usually, instrumentalists, usually they know about their instrument, about the parts of the instrument, how it works. But usually, unfortunately, speakers and singers do not know about that.
Yeah.
So how voice works. And I think it's very important because it gives you power of knowledge. And I think it's a new way to hear, see, and feel your voice.
Okay, so then what is something that would set you apart from other vocal trainers, and what would you say is like your specialty and what you really enjoy to work with, or the population you enjoy to work with?
Yeah, so usually I work with other voice teachers because our organization, which I was established 10 years ago, it was originally International Association of Teachers of Singing, the first one in Eastern Europe, Central Asia. So we started work with voice teachers, and we still have many voice teachers. Usually it's contemporary commercial music specialists, and it's very interesting actually for me because a few years ago we made a nice agreement with NATS, National Association of Teachers of Singing here in the United States. So currently we are work together, and our organization is a representative of the NATS in 29 countries of the Eastern Europe and Central Asia. But in NATS here in the United States, many members of this organization are classically trained, and it's awesome. But it was very big surprise for me because way back in our organization, like 10 years ago, classical teachers was not so interested to get new knowledge. So we attracted more contemporary commercial music specialists. And it's a nice difference, which we have here in the United States, in Europe, in Central Asia. So the biggest population with who I work right now, it's voice teachers. And also I have workshops for laryngologists and SLPs. We have it usually 2 or 3 per year because also we want to give them knowledge about Estill voice model, but in our organization we have knowledge not only about Estill, because we are trying to support all scientific based methods and models. And for example, right now we have also CVT, it's complete vocal technique from Denmark. It's also very great, and it has a nice knowledge about extreme vocal effects. We have Dr. Voice voice therapy technique, DVT. It's from Turkey originally. The İlter Denizoglu is the founder of this method, and this method it's a method of vocal fitness. So they have many devices for voice, and in my opinion, it's like a Lamborghini. We are talking about voice devices, so it's a great, like bottles, tubes. You can change the pressure with special masks, and it's awesome. So, what are we doing? We are trying to connect people, and we are trying to give them the best scientific-based knowledge.
Okay. So then, we got a good understanding of the Estill vocal model. Tell me more about your career and what was like a turning point for you in your career as a voice professor and as a voice coach.
So I think my turning point was when I started to work together with laryngologists, because a year after they invited me to join them, like at the ENT, it's Ear, Nose, Throat Institute in Kiev of the National Academy of Medicine of Ukraine. And I used to work very close together with them as a vocal rehabilitation specialist. And why it was turning point? Because I got more knowledge in vocal and voice rehabilitation, and I got my first experience of work with celebrities. Yeah, because usually, who are that people who works with celebrities? Usually, it's laryngologists.
And you can't tell us any of the celebrities you've worked with, right?
Why? I can, but usually it's celebrities, which are very popular in Eastern Europe, Central Asia.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like Ani Lorak, it's like Nadia Dorofeeva, and etc. So I have many pictures on my social media. But, it was very interesting for me because I realized that almost all big stars have a voice problems because they have very active career. They need to perform, almost every day, and usually they have voice problems, and that's why we need to have a team, of laryngologists, SLP, singing voice specialists, who will be very helpful for that great performers, because they wanna sing, whole life, and they don't wanna stop their career. And I think we can do this, and I think it's a magic trinity. Yes. So I think we need to work closer.
All right, so let's move on to, I think, our final question for our interview. So how would you say you've used your voice to shape your work, and not just your work, but also the world around you?
So I think it's a very great question. And I'm a transgender woman. I want to support diversity in the world. And I think it's the first point which is very helpful for me to change the world for the better. Because, I'm not a big activist, but I'm doing my work. I love what I do. I work with different kind of people, and in this case, they see that trans people are good people, because unfortunately, there is a very big stigma about trans people around the world, about their job and etc. And I think we need to break this stigma. We need to show people that we are the same as other, and I think I just do what I love to do, and that's it.
So how have you been able to use your voice not only in work, but also in your immediate life and with your family or friends?
It's a great question. So I try to help my friends and family, and usually I do not try to be inspired, but it's, I think, my magic feature. So my friends and family, they told me that I'm inspiring person, and probably that's the key. And I try to help them. I try to, for example, my aunt, we are working together with her. She's working in our organization too, as an accountant. Yeah, but it's nice, to have some family members at the job, favorite job. So, and I try to help, and I try to support them as I can do. Yes.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much, Sasha, for joining us on our second episode of the podcast. It was great having you here. And if any of you want to connect with her, you can find her on, I'll put it in the link in the description. You can follow her on social media, Instagram, LinkedIn, and you can find her on the Estill website, and you can always book her for trainings and personal work as well.
Thank you so much, Chris, for this wonderful opportunity to have this interview.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.